What's good, y'all? It's Terrible Mechanic here. To make this video a little bit quicker, I already uninstalled the stock intake, but let me just show you exactly how it looks before you start to unprep it. So this piece just lifts up. It is secured by, I want to say, either a 10 millimeter or a 12 millivolt bolt. It's two on each side. Boom, take that off. And then you have your intake that is connected to the throttle body here. Just easily take this off. Now when you're taking this off, you notice you're gonna have a hose here that's connected to it. You just release this spring and it'll come right off. Boom, you take that off. And then here you'll notice, let me try to find the connector. So this connector is attached to the other piece of the intake here. This is your mass inflow. This is your mass airflow sensor. You just take off the connector. This is bolted down by 1, 2, I want to say 3, but maybe it's only bolted down by 2 10 millivolt bolts. And then you'll see that you also have these clips here, which is easy to take off. Boom, take that off. I think it's about 4 or 3 of those. Okay, the reason why you want to take those clips off, because when you take off the MAF connector, there's another piece. Boom. Now you got your filter. Now, if you're not installing aftermarket air intake, you could just replace the filter and your stock intake. And this is what mine's look like. I don't think it looks too bad, but I mean, I probably could definitely use a new one. But this is the stock air intake filter. So when you remove those 2 or 3 millivolt 10 bolts, you'll be able to take out this whole thing. Another thing that I want to mention to you is you'll see this piece here. Now somebody let me know in the comments below. I forgot the name for this piece, but this will also be attached to the stock air intake, and you'll also have a connector here. Okay, so once you get this loose, you can take out the whole assembly for the stock air intake, and now you're ready to start attaching your aftermarket intake. So the aftermarket air intake that I have, if you guys follow me on Instagram, it's terrible.mechanic. You can follow me there. You'll see that I did a preview of this air intake. This is by Injen technology. Let's get this installed. You'll notice you have 2 ports here. There's 2 up here, and then there's 1 small one there. Now, when the first time I installed this air intake, I didn't know what was supposed to go on this port. I didn't have any extra hoses or connectors or anything like that, so I just left it empty. But what you want to do is, when you get this air intake, it does come with 2 hoses here, and then you also have this mounting. Then you also have this mounting bracket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the aftermarket air intake into the throttle body, and I'm going to use this mounting bracket. I'm going to loosen up this bolt here. I think it's let's see. I got a 12. Are you going to focus? I got a 12 millimeter socket here. Yep. So that'll work. I'm going to loosen this up a little bit. I'm going to mount this bracket on there, and then once I get it mounted, I'll be able to attach the other pieces. So I'll be right back. All right. So when you're trying to put this air intake, when you're trying to connect it to the throttle body, you want to get this rubber boot over the throttle body, and you want to make sure it's all the way in. And I thought I was going to connect the bracket on this side, but the way that it's oriented and positioned, I gotta connect it here. So it's kind of hard doing this on camera, like always. I swear, trying to do this with one hand fucking sucks. I don't want to cover the logo. Got that on. You want to have one of these on the throttle body itself. Go ahead and tighten that up to secure it. Make sure you don't cover up the logo. You want to make sure it's tight. Alright, that's pretty tight. Alright, so as you can see, I didn't tighten this one up yet because we had to get the bracket secured. So this is what I was talking about. You want to secure this bracket on here, and as you can see, I got my socket, my ratchet and my socket working right now. Try to hold the camera steady. And you can see where I'm going with this. You can see that I'm tightening the bracket. So this is how the intake is going to be held in place. So it's starting to tighten up. I'm starting to feel some resistance. It doesn't have to be crazy tight. Just 1 second. So you get the idea. I'm gonna go back and tighten this up, but we got our air intake connected to the throttle body. We have our bracket secured, and now we just have to attach the hose and the massive airflow sensor here. Can't forget about the connector. And we'll be good. So obviously we're not going to be using this hose, so we're going to remove this hose as well. Now I apologize in advance. I know I'm not using the correct terminology for the parts that these hoses are connected to. I just really want to show you guys me installing. Oh shit. Oh, there it is. Okay. Pro tip, guys, it's good to have like a magnet in case you lose something inside the engine bay. Look at that. Boom. Almost lost it. Alright, so we recovered that. Alright, so this is how you're going to know which hose. So when you get the engine air intake, like I said before, it comes with 2 hoses. These hoses are different sizes. As you can see, the knobs here are 2 different sizes. So all you got to do is just match up the hose, which is very, very simple. Hopefully you guys can see me doing this. Alright, so when I first installed this threw me for a loop. I had a hard time trying to figure out which hose this goes to. From the instructions, it was saying that it connects to the power steering. So this piece here, which I forgot the name of, the hose is going to connect to this here and to this port right there. So just give me a sec. Alright, so the last step of this installation is getting our mass flow air sensor connected to the intake here. Now as you can see, it is attached to the stock intake. Comes with some screws. It's very simple. I'm just trying to be very careful to not lose a screw. Alright, so this is what the MAF or the mass airflow sensor looks like. It's inside your stock air intake. Okay, it's seated inside this hole here, and as you can see, it has two brackets where we just took out the two screws. We're going to now put this inside the new aftermarket part. So mine looks a little new because I had to replace it. Alright, so I'll set this to the side. And as you can see, you just line it up with the two brackets. Very simple. Alright, so we got the piece installed onto the new air intake. We get our connector. The clips broke on the side, so I just got to make sure I push it all the way down. And that's it. It's installed. And again, guys, whenever you're doing some work underneath your car in the engine bay, make sure you have the negative terminal unplugged from the battery. Now, remember that little piece that I told you about? There's like a third port here. Let me see if I can get on the camera. This piece here, I have no idea what this would connect to, because on the stock air intake, you'll see this little piece here. This was connected to this piece, but the end wasn't connected to anything. So that's why I believe it's, probably not a big deal. I don't have to worry about it. I just installed my Injen short rim air intake into a 2001 Lexus Ls430. It's my second time doing it, so I didn't have a hard time installing it my second go around. Very simple, very easy to do. And other than that, that's it. It's installed. I'm gonna plug back in the battery, start the car, let you guys get a sound test, see how this goes. Be right back. Alright guys, so I just finished installing Injen Technologies air intake. It sounds good. I'm sure it'll ride even better, so stay tuned for a future video. I'll try to do some type of camera rig where you guys can hear it while I'm driving. So it's Terrible Mechanic. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Get at you guys later. Peace.